That's what they say, keep it real. I'd say that's pretty real. So we may have ran into a problem. It did break free, but hello guys, and welcome back to Titan Customs. My name is Paul, and today we are again working on my 1978 C10. When we left off in the last episode, we discovered we had three completely plugged flex lines. Right front, left front, rear. All of them not usable. I have ordered those. They should be in tomorrow or the next day, and we'll get those put on also. But today we are going to do tune-up, see if we can get the radiator secured, get the cooling system working. Let's just see how far we can get with this. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, and we're going to see what it takes to get this truck off the hill. I need to drive it soon, so this is really important that I get everything working, because like I said before, as you can see, there's some snow up there. It's been snowing, it's been raining, and we've been back and forth. Getting off this hill with a 200-foot elevation change and not getting killed is really important. So all the braking system has to work. Everything needs to be right. So let's get you down off there and get this thing one step closer to getting off this hill and being driven. All right, guys, let's take some spark plugs out of this thing and see what they look like. I always check to make sure that before I start pulling wires off that they've actually got number one in number one's position, which is here, and it does run down to number one. It actually has the wire or spark plug hold down to it. It also has the temperature sensor stuck in it, and it seems to be verminized. That's not good. So I'll have to chase that down and figure out where it's at. That shouldn't be too hard. Wiring is going to be a bit of a ordeal. The wiring that's in it isn't bad, but there's some bad spots in that wiring. Excuse me, my voice is not wanting to work. Anyway, let's get some plug wires off. That'd be one. And get a plug out and see how ugly it is in there, or how ugly the spark plug is. Yeah, they have all the original spark plug holders, organizers. Organization is good. Get on there. Is the heat shield messing with me? There it goes. Don't need two extensions for that. Broke field free easy enough. Actually, I'm rather impressed. It's a little rich. It does not surprise me with the way the carburetor was set up. All right, let's put a new spark plug in that thing. And it stole my, stole my rubber. I do always check the gap before I put them in. They do set them. They're usually pretty close. This did have a protector on it, just fell off. A funky old gap gauge. I hear a puffing of the puppy. An old lady, actually. It's a bit on the tight side. And that's 45. I hope all the cylinders look like that. That'd be a pretty encouraging thing. We know it runs pretty good. It doesn't smoke. Definitely needed a tune-up. And like I was saying earlier, I don't get away with nothing. I don't know if you guys have watched all of my revivals on this thing. If you haven't, do go back. One of the things I did was rebuild this, which I did a separate one. There should be 4. You see 1, 2, no, that should be 3. Idiot, 4 is over there. 1, 8, 4, 3, and 3 is where it belongs. This is one of them we actually replaced because it's a different plug wire. I wouldn't be surprised if these were original. Premium silicone, no, they aren't. Sammy is over there enjoying the sun. Again, a little rich, not bad. That carburetor, the way it was, I expect it to be like that. Come on, give me that. Don't take the rubber out of there. She's over there rolling around, doing the fat dog thing. No, 35 won't do it, Paul. Well, okay, remember me saying that they usually are close? That one is not even close. That one's almost completely closed. Now that one is 45. And we got, I've never seen before hoses. I am going to get to the, well, we know what they are. That's the drain, by the way. And this would be 5. These wires definitely are oldest, yes, very, very old. We got a wandering dipstick. Won't slide in there. Man, I am still getting rodent debris out of everything. That one's not so good. Rich and possibly fouled. Again, Yeah, that could be numerous things, but we'll run it and see how it goes. That one's really rich. It's like oil. And that's not helpful for progress. Do not drop the ratchet. I am still bending and moving. And now 2 weeks and 2 days out of the hernia surgery. A little sore still. I don't sit well. Sitting is terrible stuff. And I am also being very careful not to hurt it because I really don't need any more surgeries. I don't think anybody does. That stuff sucks. These are... I wonder if these idiots thought this was a... No, it's way looser than that. These are not on. Okay, let's get one that fits here. Like that. Wow, you are playing with me hard. God. There you go. That's a little too loose. That's just right. I'm gapping these at 45 in case I didn't already say that. Electronic ignitions 45. Points 35. Putting it all over the greasy, not so good. All the heat shields are on, at least they are on this side. I haven't seen, yeah, they're on both sides. I remember scraping rat, you know what, out of them. Where did they route that to? That'd be 7. But 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5. Yeah, just making sure they were all where they belong. Of course, it was running too good to, it wasn't spitting and farting too much. I know why it was missing now. That plug that we were just took out, that was a fouled plug. Ish. Definitely misfiring. Very gooey and very old. Once we get this off the hill and get all the physical ailments out of it, get it operating right, I'll eventually do a compression test on it, see where this engine really is after it's run. Doing a compression test before, really never, well, it never will give you the right compression. You might want to, some people, if I have to do a compression test too much time before, I'll stick my finger over it and see if it has blowback on it. But putting an actual test on it, not worth the time. If it has compression enough to start by, you can tell with your thumb, you'll never get an accurate compression like that. Once they've ran a little bit, got seated back in, then you can get compression on them. That is an excessive gap and a very good run. This plug is healthy. it's a little rich because, you know, we were just talking about that, but it was running good on that one. Oh, the glare. Hopefully that isn't glaring you guys. And this one is, I'm guessing that's a 16th thousandths. It is almost completely closed. And I'm guessing that's pretty close to where we want it. A little too loose there. Yeah, in there, I wiggled it a little too much. And then there's just right. Okay, I don't know if I probably did already, but there was a debate when we first started this, whether this was a 400 or a 350, because they optioned with one or the other with the Big 10. So it is in fact a 350, and the way that can be discerned, it dawned on me almost immediately, once I left here, of course. The 400 is externally balanced, so there'll be a big cutout in the harmonic balancer. It's unmistakable. They also have 2 freeze plugs in them instead of having the regular. Well, you can see where they plugged off the third one, etc. And they also have steam ports in the head if you had them taken apart, but at that point you would probably already know what it is. Okay, I'm going to go over the other side and do that. I'm going to probably pause you for a minute, and then if I find anything strange over there, I'll fire it back up and let you see it. It's just going to be boring seeing the same thing over there. Hang on for a second. All right, guys, it's time to get you back in this loop. This is the spark plugs from the left bank, from front to back. From your left side back is the order they were in. That one right there doesn't look great. It's a lot like the opposing bank, but they're not terrible. They're auto lights. I don't like auto lights, but that's just a personal thing. Well, mainly because I've seen them fouled more than they are running. Anyway, I'm going to put you back on the stand so you can see what we're going to do, and we'll get some wires and a cap on rotor in this thing. This is doing what my least favorite thing to do right now is sit. It bends me at my surgery. Not very comfortable. We're going to take this cap and rotor off, and I'm going to take the distributor cap over the tailgate of my truck, and I'm going to put the coil in it over there. And this is just too much pain to deal with sitting here and trying to do that under the hood. All right, I had to get you in a position where at least you can see what the heck I'm doing. Most of you guys have probably done this 1,000 times. Some of you haven't. That's why I'm going to go over it. I usually would not. I'm just going to rip all the plug wires off because we're going to redo them one by one on the truck, obviously. Well, maybe not so obviously. But yeah, that's what we are going to do. And these things have been in here a long time. They are stuck. We were going to take these connectors, which I'm thrilled are there, and put them in their places, and then run the wires through all the connectors. Titan and a Sammy just arrived. You know, earlier I was saying something, and I may be repeating myself, but I was saying something about not being able to get away with anything and talking about the carburetor may have got distracted. But the one thing we haven't done yet, and I did do a series on it, like I mentioned, and that's where I think I got distracted. We're going to end up doing a throttle shaft bushing on that. There's one of these, not two. That's interesting. You know, that is just fine. That's what that is. Somebody was in here and didn't put the right bolts back in it. That's what that does mean. I still haven't looked at the bottom side of this. We're going to do that in a minute. Can't be that great. It's been on there forever. Or at least sitting on there forever. Let me grab a little tiny screwdriver. Maybe I don't need to do that. This time you can just push them up from the bottom. I said, most of the time you can push them up from the bottom. Especially when they're extra crusty. Jeez Louise, may be a needle nose country. There it goes. It's getting cold quick and cloudy. That's pretty nasty. Now we need that. Doubt the other cap comes with any of that. No, it does not. Get out of there. Out. Jeez. Thank you. That's helpful. Oh, let's take a look at this side. Oh yeah, that's a little crusty. It's got barnacles. No surprise there. those are the, yeah, that. Must have this. Geez, I just ripped you out of there. You should just come right out. Gloves. No gloves. The reason I'm looking is there's two different ways of doing that. See, the button is darn near not existent there. And they have put it on top of the rubber cushion, which is what I was looking at. Anyway, if I do that, that will not start. That has got to be an eighth of an inch, quarter of an inch, way down there. That's not right either. That is technically not right either. But the button is visible. It is definitely not made to do that. And I can't see this thing squishing this down unless they did something wrong. So they stick through there and do that. And it says there's enough length there because of their exact same length. It wasn't sticking through, so I'm going to assume, and we'll check it, this pushes that down far enough compression with this, the screws, to push it out so the tab on the rotor can come in contact with it. Otherwise, we're not going to have a running engine. All right, we're back. And let's just say I shut the video off yesterday, had a little surgical fatigue, brain not working good, no excuse. I've got a new rule. Should have applied this rule the minute I found something extremely off about anything that was done to this truck. The rule is, it's wrong. Whatever we come up against, whether it be a simple thing like distributor cap, fuel pump drive shaft or drive rod, stuff like that, there is just every single time I've ran into any unit or any part of this truck, it's been wrong. There was either lots of drinking going on and maybe some other stuff, but that's not my concern. What is my concern is making it right. So I got in the truck and I moved about 10 feet down the road, and my brain said to me with these little flashes of me putting distributor caps together, are you kidding? The button goes on the bottom. You said so right in the beginning of when we started all this. So I'm going to show you what they did. Another move that I would, yeah, there was drugs involved. And I don't know why it even ran. Yeah, it wouldn't run for me. It did run for me, but normally if I was to do something like this, it would not run like I had mentioned. I tried to show you this a couple of times. I have you turned around so I can actually see what I'm showing you. That is how they have the button. That button belongs on the bottom side of that rubber. That is a barely level with the plastic around it, if not a little bit in, and I don't even understand how that ran. It wouldn't for me, like I said. This is how it's supposed to be. Now the rotor can come in contact with it and move power where it distributes power. This is stuff you don't expect. And it irritates me because then I had Chinesium on my brain, which we know getting it in out of this was tight from years and corrosion and stuff, but it should have, and they're always tight going in, and I'm talking about the coil, but they are not so tight that they are literally smaller than the opening they're going into, and I had to force it in. You've seen what I did, and then I had to bring it out, and that caused issues too. But that being said, we're going to put this back together, and I'm going to assume everything's wrong from here out. Before I even touch it, I'm going to assume it's wrong and diagnose it like that, because every system that we've worked on has been like that. So, I mean, there's stuff we will still come up against that'll be like that. So rather than waste more time, we're going to go into putting this thing together properly with mangled leads for me stuffing it in there. So we're going to put the coil back in the position it's supposed to be, and hopefully these leads don't break. There's garbage in there, we don't want that. Come on, you need to be a little bit over so the screw will get you. Now we get to fight with this again. We have one screw. I looked all over for a little screw to go into this. I could not find one that would. This is just a dust cover anyway, but I will go find one. This little dude, I didn't have anything that small. I'm going to have to, next time I go to town, which is where the hardware store, which is 20 miles away. Let's see. This sits like this. This is pre-thinking, by the way. This is the back. So I'm going to put it in the back so I can get to the front. Now that I think about it, I have a distributor on a 454 back at the house that we'll be working on at some point, that I can steal that screw off of and take it to Willits so I get the right one. Okay, that is ready. That's how it should have went. Anyway, I'm going to take you down from there, and I'll get right back to you as soon as we get set up over there, and we'll put some wires on this thing, get the fan belts on it, and go from there. All right, guys, let's climb in here, or let me climb in here, which is my least favorite thing to do at the moment. Actually, it's never been my favorite thing to do. It's what has to happen. All right. You remember they had the jumper lead off the positive here. We got to fix this where they just messed this all up. Can't leave it open like that. That's just not good at all. I was able to, I did some pre-setup. This thing had almost all the organizers, 3 of 4 of the organizers that attached to the side block for the spark plug wires in place, or on the wires, so I put them in place. This is a place for no gloves. Wow. I really got to bring this in. There's a hole in the middle of that is obviously burnt in the middle of it from the spark trying to get there. It also arced all along here. So I know you can't see that from here, but there, take my word, there's a hole in the middle of that. It burnt right through it. I can't believe this thing was even running. That's a lot of hot spark to get that down there, and it is all over burnt. This one, however, is nice and shiny, and you probably can see that, solid. I run these screws until because they're tight in there, and if you run them all the way through, I've had and seen where you run them all the way through, they're sticking through there, you stick it on the distributor, and then you crank it down, it cracks the cap. So I always just run them so they're flush here, they're tight, they will not fall out, and then work them down in there so that they go down smoothly in it. Ouch. And round side, one stubby side, that way. All right, I got to get something to make that go over. I'm going to pause you for a minute. We'll be right back. All right, guys. To show you what was going on here. Those tabs you see there, the one on that one was shoved all the way that way. And the reason it was doing that is there's a piece of plastic casting or whatever stuck on this other side forcing it over so it wouldn't plug. The same thing with that one. So I got in there with a pick and freed it up. That's why I don't like Chinesium. It creates extra work. They're half the price, and while we're at it, we'll show you this. The button's got a hole right through the center of it, or the tab. That's where it rides on, except it wasn't actually riding on it. You can tell it wasn't riding on it, but it blew a hole right through it trying to jump spark over to it and made it and actually ran like that. I am amazed. So, let's put this thing back on, hopefully for the last time. This stuff always goes way smoother than this. Well, obviously not always. But like I said, I don't get away with anything. And buying Chinesium is one of those things that always comes around on me. Okay, let's get to putting some plug wires on this thing. Hopefully no Chinese drama from these. Yeah, and I don't care about color normally. I would fluorescent orange, no, prefer them to just be black or gray. Man, see, they should go down through these clips here and straight, but they're way too long for that. So I'll make a little wiring loom out of wire ties, or organizers out of wire ties. But that part's done. I don't have the wire ties up here, so we'll get back to that later. It's non-essential to start it, and they're all away from, God, those are ugly. Moving parts. Wow. Yeah. Any little improvement, right? Yeah, whatever. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to take you down from there. We're going to go to putting the brake calipers on. I do not have the lines yet, but I can get the calipers on, get the pads on, and get it ready for those lines and take the lines off. I will do that part off camera because the line's down there in the frame and you're not going to be able to see with my head and my back in the way. So when we get to that part, I'll let you know, and I'll give you the results, and hopefully it's the results. The lines broke free, and they're not snapped off, and I have to create another line. So let me get you down from there, actually just move you around so you can see the wheel. 1 minute. All right, let's see if we can get these calipers off. It spins freely. I usually will try to torque them off, but with this cutting stuff, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to whack it, see if I can break them free. That was too easy. I think I just went the wrong direction with it. Yeah. Ha. I did PB blaster them a couple of days ago. Before I get any more carried away with that, let's get the brake line off of it. Let's hope the other end goes that smoothly. Yeah, right. Actually, there's absolutely zero fluid coming through that. Imagine that. I do keep a hold of this brass O-ring because the new ones tend to be complete garbage and sometimes leak. So I will hold on to them until I make sure. And the other one's stuck to the caliper. We'll get it out of there once we get the caliper doing its thing. Off. I would like to put new rotors on this. I bought really cheap pads. Actually, they're AC Delco. They're Advantage. They're their lower line ones. But that being said, they're 30 bucks. So when I can get to buying a rotor for this thing, I will do so. Making sure the bolt isn't garbage. That's a lot better than me pulling on it right now. That stuff kind of hurts. Not really wanting to mess the doctor's work up. He did a good job. I'm not nearly as in much pain as before. I wouldn't be down here if it was hurting me, trust me. He's staying within his 20-pound limit. Well, ish. Tire's not 20 pounds. Come on out of there. Come on, you can do it. Okay, let me get that thing. Give me it. No, maybe not. Don't play with me, Ratchet. There it goes. Trusty. I've already backed the piston off. I'll show you what I do to do that. That is dripping all over everything. That's what that is. We are going to hold on to that. You never know. That we're not holding on to. I was shocked that it wasn't frozen. But just in case we have issues, we have these two to back it up with. Yuck. Get like a little clip kit. Okay, I found it. That wasn't terrible. It's kind of important, although I did keep those, like I said, because this bolt is not something that comes with a kit. Always bleeder side up. That is not in there. Get the hell in there. Now it's in there. The appropriate tool for the appropriate time. No. Get the heck in there. Come on. There you go. Thank you. I was arguing with alignment on the threads there, but that's solved. Not all the way tight, obviously. Just before you get the other one in there. Give me the, yes, thank you. I have left the little cap for the line where the brake line attached in it because we don't have the lines yet. I'm going to get this one off after we get this bolted down. And then I'm going to go set up for the other side, argue with the line while you're not having to watch me just underneath a vehicle arguing with the line, not seeing anything. Brake pads installed, caliper installed, no major complications. I like that. Let's get you moved over to the other side. I'll deal with that line off camera and that on the inside of the frame. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about real quick. Excuse me. So what I am going to do is take that bolt off that holds that line on and see where it goes through the frame there. Then I'm gonna come around here, which is where you would not be able to see. I don't even know if you can see this in general. So that coming out of the frame down there, that line right in the center of your screen is exactly what I'm going to be fighting with. And hopefully we don't twist the thing off. Anyway, I'll get you set up and we'll go to the other side. All right, guys, we got the brake hose off the other side without breaking the line off and having to rebuild another one, which is just amazing because it's crusty, but it's not bad. It's greasy because it was on the inside of there and IPB blasted the heck out of it. So let's get this thing off and repeat the process. And actually, there's only one thing I'll show you. Well, maybe I'll show you. My battery might be getting dead because this thing put it on there. Shouldn't be. More pressure, no bounce, bounce, bounce. All right, what I was wanting to show you, and I don't know whether I just messed up, so if I'm repeating myself, it's because I think I stopped in the wrong spot. This got off on the other side, no problem, didn't break the line off, so we're good there. This is a trick I've never seen anybody do, except for in shops. Break the bleeder valve. They always fight with compressing the piston. Now I know this bleeder screw is plugged, so we're just going to take it out. Set it up here where we don't need it anyway, so who cares? So what I do is, instead of having to do a clamp or do it, I stick my screwdriver slightly in between there and I get the cylinder to move slowly. This one might be froze, which will cause more chaos, make me look like a you-know-what. This works if the cylinder is not frozen. We're going to try here. Nope, it's moving, kind of. It is kind of stuck, but I'm going to fix that with a bigger screwdriver. And you won't hurt the rotor. You can see it's spraying liquid, so it's trying. There it goes. Just be careful You don't want to dig in. And remember, you're on the back side of a brake shoe, so you're not against the actual rotor, at least for this part. You want to get it all the way back in there. And you can get between the brake shoe. You just got to be careful of the rotor. And in this case, there's so much garbage in there, it's not going to make any difference. But anyway, you get the point. I don't know if you could see it, but now there is a huge gap. The piston's all the way back. You can push it back. So as you're doing this, you push this back and then slowly push while keeping pressure on it throughout the whole process. You'd be pushing this back, and as soon as it gets all the way back, tighten the bleeder up, let off. It won't allow it to come out, and you won't have to bleed it, which just removes one step that is time consuming. Again, I'm going to hang on to that little brass. I'm obviously going to hang on to this because we're not putting it together without it. We're also going to keep that one. Yeah, that's used to the max. So is that, well, the rotor is not in good shape. Like I said, we got cheap pads, we're going to use it. At the moment, I need new rotors, and I want to go wheel bearings. They feel smooth, but that doesn't tell the story at all. And I was supposed to bring the rotor over here, and caliper over here. Oh, great. I've got the other caliper, or the hose bolt, hydraulic hose bolt for the other side right there. I'll put that in there with that. Well, I probably shouldn't put it in the truck. Darn rodent might take off with it. Now, I don't think we have a bunch of a rodent problem anymore. I have seen a couple of droppings, but for the most part, I think I got them all. Vermin. I've seen people lose their homes because they didn't take care of the vermin problem. That's no joke either. I am not even slightly kidding. They get in your wiring, home goes bye-bye. Don't play with vermin, they'll destroy you. Now, I get to do the same thing, remove the hydraulic hose. Again, you can't see in there, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I'll get back to you, whatever process we're in or where we're at. So, I don't think you need to see me put a tire on, but you get the process there. All right, guys, this is where we're at. I've got the passenger driver's side brake line also. Both passenger and brake lines are off. The soft line, the hydraulic ones, are both off. That's a big deal. We didn't twist off any steel fittings, so it'll be real easy to get those put back on. And you already see me put the calipers on, so we are ready to go. We need those on. We'll definitely have front brakes. There's fluid coming out of both those hard lines, so we're not going to have a problem with that. Let me flip you around, I'll show you, and then we'll get to the next thing here. Here's the line I just took off. It's removed from down in there. It's sitting on its own now, which is a good sight. Be a better sight with the grill and stuff in it. We'll get to that. So the steering's working. The front brake parts are all on. You've seen me put the calipers on, so we're good there. I've ordered the lines and I pick one of them up at the local auto parts tomorrow. So let's, well, I guess the next time we see you, we will be working on the installation of those. Hello guys and good morning, welcome back. We are going to be going up to the C10 and see if we can get brake lines on it. I did get the flex hoses in, so as you can see, we got a lot of snow. It's melted quite a bit off. Yesterday it was about a foot. Northern California doesn't hold it very long. Fortunately, we usually melt off a few days, or worst case scenario, a month. But we're going to get in the truck and see if we can get up the dang hill. I'm going to take you along so you see the challenge of getting the C10 down. We will put the hoses on it today. We will get the brakes bled and see what else we can get done. It obviously is not driving off that hill today. It ought to be a little bit fun. It is getting up there. It is a little bit higher in elevation, 100 feet or maybe a little more. It does get more snow and I don't know what it looks like up there. So let's take you down from there. Let me get the ice off the windshield up there and we'll head up. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can get up this hill without too many complications. It's not bad here under the trees, and most of it is under trees all the way up there. And I've been up and down this driveway this morning. This part of it is good. It's the other part going up the mountain that could be a hazard. Snow squishes all that bushes and stuff into the road. We need to do some trimming. Definitely. I tried to get as much of that hood stuff off as I could, but it's a frozen block of ice. It was hard enough getting it off the windshield. Switch back here. Hopefully without my fingers in the screen. And that little step grinding, I'm sure. And keep safe at the same time. Oh, it's a little slippery there. Frozen. This isn't too bad. This isn't bad at all, actually. Keep it real. That's what they say, keep it real. I'd say that's pretty real. Let's take a look at this. I just told myself, bring the chainsaw. I didn't bring the chainsaw, so I'll be switching back. But let's take a look at this first, see what I gotta do. One dead fir. Yeah, this is what I didn't want to do today. Took out one live oak. All right, so let me go get the chainsaw. I'm going to pause you guys here and we'll get back to this in a minute. I'll give you a little bit of footage of getting it out of here and then we'll get back to working on the truck. Hopefully there's not another tree in the road. All right, guys, as you can clearly see, the struggle is real. I'm not going to waste a bunch of time trying to cut this into logs. Part of it I will, the oak with the fir that's down here. I'm going to cut it there after I move some of this out of the way. And I'm going to hook a chain on that side of it and see if I can get it to pivot over right about where you're at so we can get by, because we have about 6 hours before a major storm rolls in here and rains a couple inches on us and overnight. So let's get this out of the way and get up there and see if we can get to the C10. Okay, I am going to pull it off of the driver's side of my truck to get it to hopefully go that way and not just get in the middle of the road and have to have me cut it out. It might be fantasy. Or I can just drag it manually. I don't think so. I told you that log wanted to come this way. Move, Sammy. You know, one day you'll listen. And it'll be today. right, guys, I'm going to get you guys loaded back up, get the chain put in the truck, saw put in the truck. We're going to go up and see if we can get some brake lines on. All right, guys, we're back in the truck. Let's see if we can get up the mountain. And remember, this is not flat ground. This is very steep. We just gave us enough room to get through here, and yeah, the windshield's a little wet. Windshield wipered, etc. Hopefully no more trees. Yeah, I gotta bring the C10 down here, and it is two-wheel drive with ball tires. Rollers. It ain't happening on snow. You guys actually got a better view than I do because there's 5 inches of snow on my darn hood. Coming up on the C10. This isn't nearly as bad as I thought it could be. Well, it may have snowed too soon because here's where it usually gets yuck. There it is. I'm going to get you guys, I'm going to pause you for a minute, get you set up, and I'll get turned around, and I'll be right back to you. All right, guys, we're up here. That's an amazing feat just by itself. As you've seen, struggles are real. Truck's got a little bit of snow on it. Ground's got a little bit of snow on it. It's melting off pretty quick. But it's definitely here. So let me get you on the tripod, get all the parts out, and see if we can get the front, well, we will get the front brake lines on. We got to get the rear brake lines on. I actually have another inflated tire, which gives us 4 inflated tires. So when we leave here, it'll be on 4 tires. And we'll see where we get. Be back to you in a minute. All right, guys, let's see if we can figure out which brake line fits on which side. I had them all organized, but as I moved them back and forth, well, you know, it tells the story when you start putting it up there in a hurry. Alrighty. So there is 2 different parts numbers on these things. But those look like the exact same one, which doesn't surprise me, you know. Not everybody is paying attention when they put things in their bags. These are obviously the same one. So that could be a big problem for us. Let's see if this is the side this one belongs on. Should go down in there like that, sit like that, and go through the frame like that. I do believe we have winter on this side. I'm going to keep those ridged brass washers wherever I just dropped the other one in case these leak. Those ridges make a difference, and that's why they don't attach the way they should. Or not leak is what I'm trying to say. What I didn't bring, 1/2-inch wrenches and ratchet. I'm gonna pause you for a minute, I'll be right back. All right, we have the right tools again. Now let's see if I can get that thing tightened up. Man, kidding me? Come off there. Dang little rubber cap is arguing with me about coming off. Seriously, I will just destroy you. I don't really care. Ow. Well, it's definitely not going to fall off. I'll set it up here on the A-frame. Harpoon myself. I'm going to break this bleeder free, and we're going to let both these gravity feed when we lift the rear to put that flex line on the rear. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hook the inside up because you guys can't see anything in there. I tried to get you in there once before. It didn't work very well. So I'm going to hook that up, go over the other side. We'll repeat this process, and then we'll move back there. See if we can get some brakes working on this thing today. That'd be huge. Yeah. It'd be huge as I could get the jack out from under it and, take it to the other side and do all that. And we don't need back in here this way. And this tire actually is the one that's going on here. I hate this little tire on here, but again, these are just rollers. And I have all 5 lugs for it. The other 2 are in there. I will put all 5 of them on before we try to go anywhere. And this is all clay right here. And just from it getting wet, this tire has made that impression in there. I'm sure you can't see that from there, but there's like a 2-inch sink right there where it's been sinking into the ground just from it being raining and snowing and wetting the ground. Yeah, we'll do that one first. All right, we'll get you set up so you can see what's going on the other side. All right, guys, we are back on this side. I've got you set up. That line went on smooth. Of course, they always do. Going on is not the problem. Coming off is the problem 99% of the time. Okay. The only reason I'm actually going to make you see this again is because I want to verify that line is incorrect. They're both identical, and there should be a right and left side, in my head anyway. Yeah, we don't need the lug nuts in water. used to doing 8 lugs, so when I do 5, I'm like, wow, did I miss some? Nope, just doing 5. Oh, here's where the fear comes in. I can't imagine them being universal side to side, but we'll take a look. There's no way. So what I'm looking at is the L goes up, that bend goes up like that, which means when the steering goes around that way, turns right, it's going to run this hose directly into the spring pocket over there, and there's just no way of keeping it out of there because it's supposed to tuck up in here, but the bend's the wrong way to do that. It has to be the opposing bend and come around and go the other direction. That's not good. It's another problem, a big one. All right, guys, I'm going to put this wheel back on. I'm going to call the auto parts and see if they have that part. Maybe I can run down there, and if they have it on the shelf, they're not likely. I'd have to drive to Willits, which is 40 miles round trip, and by the time I get back, it'll be too late to do anything. Let me get you down. We're going to go to the rear end of this thing and see if we can get the rear brake hose brake hose on. All right, guys, it's the next day early in the morning. I'm up here. It's cold. As you can see, there's snow, and it's about ready to rain. They say it's cold enough it should snow, but we'll see. Anyway, they have the part at the auto parts. They didn't have it yesterday, but they shipped it in, so it'll be there this morning. I'm going to go into there and get that center flex line off. I have a feeling we're going to end up breaking the left rear hard line going over to the wheel cylinder off. So I'm going to take you down from there right now, and we're going to go into there and see if we can get that done and see what parts we're going to need so we're not making more than one trip because the storm's not going to let us. 1 minute. Yes, I have this sitting on blocks. It's in gear. It's chocked. I should be safe. So the one I'm going to try first is this one. I don't know if you guys can actually see that, but I got to get this one free. That's the main line, and it's my main concern because I really don't want to mess with that main line. If I have to flare it, I have to re-flare it, but it would make it a lot easier and smoother if I didn't have to do that. Okay. I did spray these down yesterday with plaster. I don't know if that's going to help, but we're going to find out right about now. We'll probably end up using vice grips. Come on. Of course they am. Tubing wrench is not going to work on it. That's tight. Maybe. Oh, it broke loose. Did it break loose from the line? Please, please, please be broke free from the line. Oh, there's some luck. That there's a blessing. It did break free from the line. Now that one did not. I'm going to try to free it. I've got some propane here. I don't like heating this. Brake fluid is very burnable, explosive. You can heat it up and blow hot liquid all over yourself if you aren't careful. Actually, even if you are careful, there's no real safe way for that. We'll see what the brake free did. The PB blaster. Get my eyeballs out from under where brake fluid could drip on me. Because it's going to want to do that. That clip ought to be fun to get out of there. I think that's actually free. All right, let's see if that line cooperated at all. Maybe. Oh, such luck, Minard. Well, just because it ain't moving doesn't mean it's not twisting, right? I need to get right in your way. Get in some position so I can see that darn thing. Spare tire rack's kind of in my way. Oh, it is definitely twisting the end of that line. I seriously doubt that's coming free. We did free it on that end because we put a wheel cylinder on it. Why? I wonder if we can get creative here. I doubt that too. Okay. Laying on tools is not comfortable. Or the brake line, whatever. Here's what I was looking for. Let me get the clip out of there. Everything is really crusty back here. Wow. What the heck? I hate rust. I don't know if you can see the bottom of the bed, but it's really good. But there's surface rust all over everything else. Well, I need to go get a hammer, but I'm going to do the inappropriate thing. Whack it with my ratchet. Which is working. One clip off. So this is the line we made. Obviously not going to have any problem with it. What I am thinking is cheating. What I mean by that is take this out, which of course is stuck. And take this bolt out and spin it on the end of the brake line so we don't have to flare another end and do that all that rigmarole again. That's probably wishful thinking. Probably the minute I pull it away from the differential rear inspection cover, it's going to break somewhere else. Come on, baby. Be nice to me. Get right. See what I'm trying to do here? Yeah, this is cheating. I'm okay with cheating as long as it doesn't damage something. I wish that would come free though. Doesn't look at all corroded on the inside, but we know that doesn't matter. Yeah, it ain't going to. Just line her up. I said line up. Now the next trick is, can we get it back over there without breaking the end of the line off? Well, okay, you Chinesian piece of junk, what the heck? Is that stepped? It is, so that's upside down. That's a problem. It clocked in upside down. And this is stepped. So this part goes down into a, yeah, and then it stops at the shoulder. That thing is literally rotated 180. That's no good. And there ain't no way of correcting that without breaking that line free. Which we're going to try. Because because that can't be flopping around back here. That's just no good. Will it cause me more work? Yep, probably. Especially if I keep bending metal back and forth, it snaps off right here. All right. You guys are going to keep an eye on this for me. And I'm not seeing brake fluid coming out this line. I'm going to go press on the, well, I'm going to check the master cylinder and then I'm going to press on the line. I really don't want a bunch of, no, we're not going to do that. So what I am going to go do is grab a lighter and I'll be right back. Now what I was trying to do there is, why do I see brake fluid going down the inside of my, oh, and yeah, wheel over there. So I may have the bleeder open and then I heated this up and it, yeah. So what I was trying to do, I'm trying to say was, I wanted to get this hot, but I don't want the line all that hot. I'm hoping to get the nut. So it will, it feels funky, freaky. Looks like it moved. I ain't buying it. That might be a little hot. That's incredible. We saved it. That's awesome. It's also hot. Imagine that. Free spinning. That's what we wanted. And the line appears to be intact, which is also what we wanted. They're helpful things. Big side up. Come on, little dude. We already had you screwed in there once. I know you'll go. Unless I mangled the threads. Oh, you're way back on the... And we are done. Everything's good. Lines are all tight. Nothing's in the way. It's all right. Should the old line done. All right, I'm gonna get out of here and go get some parts, and I'll get back to you. All right, guys, I'm back. I've got brake line. Let me show you. So I'm going to go ahead and install the brake line. You see me do this on the other side. Unless something comes up, it's just repeating and you don't really need that torture. I also needed a fan belt because the other one was too long. One was too short, one was too long. So I've got that. I'm going to get, and I'm dropping it on the ground. All right, I'm going to put the brake line on, put it back down on the ground so we can bleed the brakes, and I'll get back to you then, and we'll see if we can get this thing bled out and actually have working brakes. Be back in a minute. Okay, guys, I just fired you up for a second here. We're going to take you in and show you what I've done. There's the new line. It's on there. It's run the right direction. It fits. Imagine that. It's a left front. It's like a hose. Brake hose. And there it is. It goes through there and it's attached in there, and I don't know how much you can see of that. It was hard for me to see. So I'm going to get you set up so that we can see if we can get this thing bled down. Give me a minute. All right, guys, I've got the right rear bleeder open with a hose like I had shown you going into one of these that has fluid in it, brake fluid in it, so that it doesn't backsuck air. It's an old way of doing it. It works. We'll see if we have any issues with the portioning valve. I did put fluid in it before I left to run to get parts. And by the time I got back, this was drained completely out, but this hose was also open. So most of it, I'm sure all of it went right here and not into that caliper at all. So we're going to start over there. We're going to go to there, and then here, providing Mr. Proportioning Valve doesn't mess with us next. Let's try it, see what it does. Obviously moving fluid. Let's go. I'm going to go over there and look. That is the longest point, the furthest distance. So I'm going to do that some more and see if we can get some more of that direction. And all right, guys, phone decided to shut off videoing. So where I left off is I was going to the rear to bleed it, and then I went to that side and I bled it, no problem. Bled this side, no problem. We have brakes, no two ways about it. It has functioning brakes, huge accomplishment. We now have brakes that work, we have steering that works, carburation and fuel system completely hooked up and works properly, clutch system works. We've restored all those things to the way they should be. What we need to do now is install the battery tray. It's completely gone. I can't even set a battery in there. I don't know if you guys ever saw that, but it was laying like that, and it's a giant battery I was using. You can't get a battery in there at all. The radiator is an 87 radiator. It doesn't belong in here. It needs the regular radiator. I have a shroud for it in the back of the truck here. I'm going to try to put that on. We're going to come back after I eat lunch. If it doesn't start pouring on me, but we will come back and put that on there so that the radiator hose isn't getting ate by the fan I've got the fan belt that I was missing. So we got to just wrap those things up, but we've made huge progress. We are very close to driving this, other than right now I couldn't drive it out here if I wanted to. There's still a ton of snow on the road, two-wheel drive, very sketchy tires. I'd slide off into somewhere I don't want to be. I'm not real concerned about that. I just need to get this settled. So we've also tuned it up completely. This thing's ready to go, other than the fan and the battery tray. I know cosmetics aren't done. I don't have the grill in it yet. I need to do some, obviously, lots of body stuff. I need to tape up the leads over there that go to the alternator. Those were clipped off, and then a rat ate part of them. Somebody clipped, as I showed you, they clipped the wires coming down from the blinkers right in the middle of all the way across them, clipped them right in half. I'm just going to disconnect the banana plug so we don't get some kind of electrical problem. The seat needs to be bolted down, but we're ready. We just need to get that taken care of, and that shroud should keep this out. I'm just going to temporarily attach this, and we're going to fill it with water, make sure it holds water. I've got one water pump bolt down there that needs to be put in. Excuse me. Anyway, I'm going to pause you. I am starving and I am freezing. Even my dog's over there going, this is crazy. So I will see you very shortly. We'll get to putting the shroud and stuff in, just like I said. Okay, guys, what I've got here is the old battery tray. I had told you the other day we had no place to put the battery. In order to drive that thing down the hill, we kind of need that. This is what was left of the battery box tray, whichever you want to call it. This would be attached to there. Obviously, it clearly was not. I could not put battery pressure or any pressure on it at all. So I bought a tray. Off camera, I took this thing up there and made sure that that hole that they gave us lines up. Now, some people might put a bolt through that, but it's going to eat a hole in the bottom of your battery. I'm not doing that, obviously. So what I am going to do is I'm going to drill a couple of holes in here, probably 3, and do a rosette weld through the back side of it to get that on there thoroughly. And then I'm going to give it a little bit of paint, let it sit, and then after I'm done working on the truck, get it to the point we need to put the battery in it, we have a place to put the battery. I'm going to put you on pause for a minute. Yeah, we'll get the grinder for that. Let me pause you. I'll get the welder set up, get the grinder out, clean that up, tack it together, get some paint on it, and we'll go back to working on the C10 and getting it ready to drive today. Okay, I'm back. Chasing helmets and welding gear and setting up welders and flap attack and all that. Oh yeah, safety glasses, nut and bolt to hold the thing together. These are not the things to weld in. They will instantly be barbecued. Holes all through them. Speaking of which, welding without shirts, gloves, sleeves, pants, very, 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 very bad idea. Let me tell you why. For decades I did that. And right around my collar, as you've seen, when it's hot, I wear tank tops. And I had a permanent red mark from flash burns from that stuff. It makes your hide like leather. I know that because the stuff around my neck now is like leather. And it took forever for it to not be like that. Yeah, that's slightly better. It's a lot better. Adjustment done. More heat. And that is going nowhere. Well, in case you didn't think that got some penetration, it's almost to the point of a problem. Right there is that weld right there. Yeah, that's penetrated. All right. Low battery. It's amazing these things can kill batteries when they're not doing anything. So I just put a new battery in it last year. All right, let's get you paused for a minute. I'm gonna take this apart, get it ready to paint, give it a shot of paint. We're gonna go work on the C10. Well, guys, we've came a long ways. We've got a battery tray. We have got steering. We've got a fuel system. We have brakes. It's sitting on all 4 of its own tires. If you would like to see that thing come off the hill, hit subscribe. And either that thing comes off the hill or it doesn't.